Morning. So today I want to talk about doing difficult things and why it's important to do difficult things. I know a lot of people mention, talk about how beneficial it is to do things that test you and are just difficult and get you out of your comfort zone. And so that's something that you always, you'll see Joe Rogan talk about it, and when he brings on David Goggins, who's a bit of a head case, but his whole shtick is doing stuff that's difficult to improve your life. And so one of the things that I do that's difficult that I started about a year ago, and it's jiu-jitsu. I started doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and it's like one of the most difficult things that I've ever experienced in my life. So I've done, I do martial arts anyway. I've got a black belt in karate, and so I know what it's like to train physically and get in combat situations where you're staring someone down and it's uncomfortable, things like that. But jiu-jitsu it's just really difficult. So like I said, I've been doing it for a year now, and I'm still absolutely rubbish at it. Just I mean, I suppose it's relative. So although I feel like I'm rubbish at it because I'm doing it with all the other guys who've been doing it for the year plus whatever the experience is, if someone new comes to the gym and starts training, when we get into the fights, then I do realise that I do know some stuff, and I'm not as bad as I think I am. But the whole thing is just discomfort from start to end. So depending on how we warm up, the warm up might be drills or something, or it might be running round and we're all running around, and then we start doing leapfrogs over and under and over and under and all kinds of things, and the warm up will last 15, I don't know, about 20 minutes or a little bit less. At that point, it's I never felt like that doing karate. Just the level of tiredness just after doing a warm up, and then you get into it, and so there's lots of techniques that, all techniques are just so different to anything that you'll do in a striking martial arts. And obviously jiu-jitsu is done on the ground. It's Brazilian jiu-jitsu that I do, so I don't really know anything about traditional jiu-jitsu. I think I went to 1 or 2 classes when I was about 8. And so I remember in those things in traditional jiu-jitsu, you do rolls, and I kind of remember learning how to fall, you break your fall in the back and the side and in the front and things like that, which we don't do any of that in Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Anyway, so the thing is, it's uncomfortable when you do it, but obviously you feel great when you're finished, but it's uncomfortable. And there's a part of me that just doesn't want to go. When it's so now I was there last night, and now I feel great and I love it and it's brilliant. But then when it comes round on the calendar again where I've got to go, tomorrow, then I'm starting to my brain starts racing, starts to think, can I come up with some kind of excuse that I can let myself off the hook for actually having to go and things like that. And obviously I don't let that get the better of me. I know that it's coming, which is like half the battle. Well, it's more than half the battle. Because in general, your body just doesn't want to get into uncomfortable situations. Of course it doesn't. Why would it? You know, it's difficult, and you know, jiu-jitsu I actually find quite painful. Right, so I'm like under 70 kilos, and so when I've got someone who's like over 100 kilos lying on top of me, it hurts. I mean, it hurts me. My ribs hurt. I'm like, ugh. You know, no one's actually doing anything to me, and I already feel like topping. And so, why is it important to do things that are uncomfortable? Well, you see, I choose to go to jiu-jitsu, obviously, but there's lots of other things in your life that you have to do that you might not be able to choose to get out of, or if you can, you probably shouldn't really choose to get out of it. So if you've built up the muscle of doing things that you know you don't really want to do, but you get them done anyway, then these things get easier. So I mean, if you ever, I know people who are still in the same job and they got a job when they came out to university, and they will not quit that job no matter what, because they just can't face the idea of handing in the resignation. You know, the idea of like going up to someone and saying, you know, I don't want to work here anymore, thank you very much. They just can't bring themselves to do that. You know, and that's a very self-limiting attitude to have. Well, you know, if you're so bad that you can't even quit your job, you know that's bad. And you know, there are lots of things that's something that you can choose to do or not to do, but then there's other things that you just have to like man up and do, you know what I mean? There's things that sometimes you have to tell people things that they're not going to want to hear, or sometimes you've just got to deliver bad news. You know, when my mum died, I had to tell me nan, because my dad was just such a mess, he couldn't do it, and you know, so I did it, and you know, I was the one who was like basically, you know, on the phone telling people and things like that, and you know, it's not fun, obviously, but it's just something that you like, it was something that I chose to do to save me dad going through the pain of having to do it. And you know, I think it's important, you know, it's like you say, when these things happen, the situation's bad enough as it is, without you also having to deal with the fact that you don't want to do something because it's going to be painful, and of course it is, but you can train for it. You know, you can do things that will prepare you, or at least you've got the attitude or the part of you that you can tune into this thing and say, right, now I'm going to do something that I don't want to do, and I know I don't want to do it, and that's fine, because it's not pleasant and it's not comfortable, but I've done things that aren't pleasant and aren't comfortable lots of times now, and I can just do it. You know, so it's worth considering doing things that aren't, you know, make you feel uncomfortable. One of the things that people do, cold showers. You know, that's, anyone can take a cold shower. You know, maybe you can't go and do jiu-jitsu, you just can't face it. I get that. It's not for everyone. But taking a cold shower is it's an experience. So I started taking cold showers, I don't know, like 7, 8 years ago, something like that. because I got into like I came across Wim Hof. I think it was on a Joe Rogan thing or something. I can't remember. And he was talking about how good it is to take cold showers and things like that. And I said to myself, wow, I can do a cold shower. What a load of nonsense. And he was like saying, you've got to work up to it. You can't just have, you should have a 5-minute cold shower is a good thing to do. Well, you'll have to work up to it. And I'm like, what a load of rubbish. So he reckoned that the first shower that you take, you do. His method for getting into the cold showers is you take it bit by bit. So for the first week, 7 days, you get in the cold shower for 1 minute. Next week, 2 minutes, etc. until you work up to 5 minutes. So the first cold shower that I took, I thought I was going to die. It was just so. It's just one of those things that people who, like my dad still says, oh well, that's easy. I at the end of every shower I turn the tap down. It's like, yeah, but it's not the same. It's not the same turning on some cold water for a little bit than like getting in the cold shower and you're 5 seconds in and you just want to get out and you've still got like 55 seconds left. And I really did think I was going to die, and I thought I'll never be able to do 5 minutes. This is just impossible. So after the minute, I managed to stay in for the minute. Then I got out, and you feel great. I mean, I don't know if it's just that you feel great, but it's all. But you do. Your body reacts, and you get warm, and it's you feel quite euphoric. But the next day, when I got in for a minute, I knew that I could stand a minute because I did it the day before, and there was nothing to stop me staying in for that minute. So then the next day, it was loads easier, but you wouldn't believe how much easier it was. I mean, it was orders of magnitude easier, and like literally nothing had changed. The only thing that had changed, it's not like physiologically I was adapted to the cold or anything. The only thing that had changed was, my attitude, and also beyond the attitude, it was the fact that I had, the knowledge that I could stick it out. So, the most difficult part of like any type of cold shower or cold plunge or anything like that is the very first time you do it. So like since then I've had cold showers in Iceland. So the tap water coming out in Iceland when you're in some campsite in the middle of nowhere, that's a cold shower. I mean, I don't know how cold it was, but it was cold, expletively cold. But I knew I could do it. I was just there. When I came out, I couldn't feel my toes, but it was fine. And it was like, I've had a cold shower in Iceland, And also there's a great thing about Iceland is their swimming pools are all outdoors and they're all heated. So, because they've got like all the thermal energy and stuff. Like the geothermal energy. So all the heating, is free. So you can go in the outdoor swimming pools. We went in the summer, so it was like about 12 degrees. When we went, it was nice and sunny, but it was still cold. And all the swimming pools are nice and warm, so and there's like slides and everything. The kids are getting them, play with them, love it. But they had cold plunges, like little tubs they can get in, and like they were like 3 degrees or 5 degrees depending on where it was. And so getting into one of them, so you just come out to, they have. Surprisingly enough, Iceland didn't seem to have any saunas that I could find. But what they do have is, like hot water tubs. And so the like in these swimming pools, outdoor swimming pools, they'll have like little hot tubs of different temperatures. So like one will be like 35 and the next one 37 and the next one will be like, I don't know if it was 40 or something. But you go from the 41 into the cold plunge, and that's like, that clears your mind, and it's great. But when you first get in, you know, your body's like, I don't want to be there. But you just sit there, chill out, know that you're looking cool in front of your family. Like, oh look, dad's in the cold. Thinking they put the finger in, like, I can't do it. So, you know, that's always fun. But the point is, what I was getting back to, is I've worked myself up to, you know, I've practiced doing things that are uncomfortable. Now, it's not easy to practice putting yourself in some kind of difficult psychological situation like quitting your job. It's not like you're just going, oh, I tell you what, I'm going to toughen myself up and quit my job. You know, it's not not a great idea, I don't think. But you know, doing stuff like that, then it's good. It's good practice. And like I said, you know, that's why I go to jiu-jitsu. I mean, it's just, I think of it as like, you know, the mental training side of it is important, but also it's just the fact that I find it so difficult. I think if I found it easy, then I just wouldn't go. I don't know. I didn't. It's not it's just so difficult. I don't know if it ever gets more easy. I hope it does. You know, just in the sense of knowing that I can do stuff. You know, if it gets easier, then I'll be able to like fight. You know, better higher belts and, you know, stuff like that, and then it'll be a whole different level of difficulty. But I'm also like the oldest one there, so I'm 48. I'm coming across kids, you know, people. Most of them are all in the 20s, like, and some of the ones who think that they're a bit older, like, consider themselves older, like in the 30s. So it's like, you know, it's like when you've got to, you know, have a bout with some young guy who's ripped, whose arms are like bigger than my legs. You know, it's that's one of those things like where you just go, right, I'm going to do this, and you're ready for it psychologically. But what's different between jiu-jitsu and say something like karate is, it's like the fact that you're not striking blows. It just changes the whole dynamic, because it's not as scary. Well, at least I don't find jiu-jitsu scary at all. Because, like, you know, when someone's like choking you out, and like you do see the tunnel, woo, and hear the woo, and then as long as you remember to tap, and that's it, they just let you go, it's fine. Or, you know, if someone's, you know, got you in an arm lock or something, you know, they could literally break your arm. But as long as you're not tit about it, and you just go, yeah, tap, you know, then it's fine. It's absolutely fine. It's not dangerous. Whereas in karate, when you just like, you know, if you come across some kind of, if you've got to go against like a lower belt or something that's just got not much skill, and then they get annoyed because like you've clipped them a few times and you know something, even though you're wearing gloves, you know, it doesn't hurt. You know, and then they get pissed off and stuff. Then it gets dangerous, because also, I don't know about, you know, any of you guys watching this, but when I get hit, like, you know, it annoys me. You know, I don't know if it's just my upbringing or what, but I think it's got a lot to do with, you know, nobody likes getting hit, which is probably why that's the way humans fight. Is like, you know, we hit each other because it hurts psychologically as well. It annoys you. You know, so when you've been beaten up, you know, the worst part of it isn't like I've been beaten up as a kid, and you know, I have a black eye or whatever, you know, and maybe, you know, some sore parts of my body, but it's your, you know, it's your ego that's hurt more than your body. You know what I mean? It's like that. It's the fact that, you know, getting beaten up is psychologically hard. You know what I mean? But that's what I like about jiu-jitsu. It's not, you know, if it's not bad psychologically because someone's just applied skill to you usually, and then they beat you. I'm at the stage where I get beaten more than I don't very often manage to get anyone's attack, but I do sometimes. But it's usually because they've like messed up. But it's good. So I mean I definitely recommend if you want to do something like to just test you and make you toughen yourself up psychologically. I think jiu-jitsu is definitely the way to go. It's just so good. It's like it really has changed my life and just how I think about stuff. It also it makes me think as well. Like so when you're a black belt in karate, and it makes you you think certain things about yourself, and then when you go into jiu-jitsu and it's just like you just get wiped out. Someone will just grab you, and I've had guys who will just grab me and put me on the floor like that. Just like that. It's, obviously, if it was a fight, I'd probably I'd be striking them, but it's just it's just a whole different level of combat that you just you're such a novice, even if like you're a black belt in karate, it doesn't help. I mean, it helps with your balance and things like that. I'm difficult to take down at the beginning because I've got like good balance and things like that. But in terms of fighting, you just think, my God, these guys are real killers. So that's what I'm on about. The thing is about practicing doing difficult things is it does set things in perspective. So when there are things that you're going to have to do in your life, situations, uncomfortable situations. It's like I said before, if you've built up a sort of like a resistance muscle of psychologically you're prepared for it. It helps you through because the thing that the Stoics always go on about is that you suffer more in your mind than you actually do, in life. That's where your suffering comes from, because the situations appear, how they appear to you, is how you face them. And so, if you're just going to let situations get on top of you, then you're going to suffer completely unnecessarily. I'd be all down for suffering and worrying if it actually did anything, but it doesn't. It absolutely does not help the situation. The fight or flight response is great for like fighting or running away, but as soon as that's gone, then it's useless, and it also doesn't apply in some kind of stressful social situation at all. It's not helpful. It's just not. If you're in a job interview, then running away or fighting the guy who's asking you a tough question, it's just not an option. So, it's one of the things that I definitely recommend, just for, just so that life doesn't take you by surprise so often, is do things that make you uncomfortable. And that way it's just another tool in your toolkit. Because otherwise, you're just going to be reacting to situations, which is what you don't really want to be doing. Obviously we react to situations because reaction is doing something in response to certain inputs, you get certain outputs. But that reaction shouldn't just be like a nervous reaction of, I don't know what to do, I'll just do anything. That's something that you see all the time. So, the takeaway for today is do things that make you uncomfortable, and do jiu-jitsu as well, because it's good. So, it looks like my lunch is ready, which is pretty much a very similar lunch to I do every day, because like I've probably mentioned before, I do like the what you call the slow carb diet. So it's like basically you stay away from the starchy stuff like rice and there's no pasta or anything like that. And it's like lots of vegetables, Um, the beans, legumes are like featured prominently because they don't cause blood sugar spikes and things like that. And I've got a nice big bit of fish in here, which I don't actually know what it's called in English. In Spanish, it's dorada. I probably should have looked it up to see what it was, but it didn't occur to me. So it's fish and slow carb stuff. So there's my lunch for today, and I'm done. So see you next time, and have a good day.